If I could go back to any moments from my past, I'll go back to my 8-year-old days. Then I might be able to meet my grandpa again. I really miss him. When I think of him, a certain scenery and smell first comes to my mind. A wide hallway in hospital's ward, and a smell of disinfectant lightly spread in there. The place was like my playground, and also it was the place where I confronted his last moments. My grandpa was a colonel in RK Army for several decades. He participated in the Korean War and had received more than 10 medals from the government before he retired. In his cabinet of study, those medals and badges were very various, and to my young mind, well, those medals and badges were brilliant, shining, and fascinating for me. My grandpa suffered a quadriplegic after having a stroke when I was 8 years old. To my young mind, I couldn't recognize him when he drooled at his mouth, when he was supposed to be the head of my family. So I started to ignore him. Maybe my grandpa knew that I was regarding or paying less attention to him. But sadly enough, he didn't express his sorrow at all. One day, when I was about 10 years old, I snuck into my grandpa's study and opened his cabinet secretly and stole the brightest medal of all. Then I got caught by my dad just before returning home. I expected to be punished by my grandpa. However, at the time, he couldn't speak at all, so he wrote something on a whiteboard with his trembling hands and showed it to me. "It's all right, sweetheart." Grandpa was getting more sick as time went by. Every Sunday morning, I went to the hospital where Grandpa was at. Childish enough, I greeted him for a brief moment and went out right away to play with my younger brother. The boring Sunday was soon gone when we played hide and seek all day long. At the time, I didn't recognize anything serious was going on. My grandpa passed away that autumn. Well, at his last farewell, I shook hands with my grandpa, and his hands were very cold as steel. And he gave me a present for me. Well, it was a medal which I had tried to steal once. Also, he left a will note for me. Be an excellent adult who treats the world without prejudice. After he left, I grew up little by little. Then I gained a sense of consideration and an ability to understand others. I gradually began to realize how ignorant I had been to my grandpa and how sorrowful and hard he would have been from my childish acts. To sum up, I think my growing pain is my grandpa. The weight of the medal was heavy, and it's still heavy, like the weight of his absence. The will became a guideline of my life, and a belief that should be kept in every aspect of my life. And I tried to develop a sense of balance, looking at the essence rather than being buried by mere looks or appearances when facing certain issues. Though the loss of my grandpa remains a regretful and painful moment, I wish to grow day by day and made my life more meaningful through his wisdom. Thank you.